people who are like maybe you must already be technically sound to have gotten to that level. So visibility is a different ballgame. If I'm talking to people who are, starting off a career mid-level, so I'll use myself as an example and people I know. You start off work, you just want to be trainable and you want to learn as much as you can. Now, the problem is if you want to be visible, they're going to use you both for what you're paid for and what you are not paid for, which means you're going to be doing a lot of tasks that, yes, you're extremely good at what you do, you're going to learn, but there'll be a lot of things that you are doing that people are not going to pay you for, as in you're almost like a volunteer. You put yourself out there, you volunteer to do this. They say, who can do this? You volunteer to do that. You volunteer to do this. Now, a lot of people feel that visibility means that if they say, who is the best person at this, people will call your name. I don't think so. I think visibility is actually, look, people know you are so good. People really understand that you are so good at what you do that you are a go-to person. A go-to person is not the person they come to in the limelight. A go-to person is somebody that people know can solve a problem. So I like using the lower level of everything as an example. Most people today, if you have something to do in your house, you need an artisan. So if you wanted to if you had a plumbing issue in your house today, how do you get a plumber? Can people just type in the chat? How do you go about getting a plumber? If you had a plumbing issue in your house today, how do you get a plumber? Okay, Insta says referral. Symbol says I'll ask around. Somebody says you ask the people around. Call someone who just fixed it. Ask neighbor for referrals. Okay. Ask. Check online. Ask around. You go out and search for one. Okay. Larry says you go out and search for one. Ifechukwu says, Larry says referrals. It says go out and search for one. Okay. All right. So you guys are relying on the power of, a lot of this is referrals. Someone has done this thing for me before. Clementina says someone I've worked with previously. Someone has done this for me before. And then I'm looking for somebody who can do it. Tolulokwe says, tell my husband. Okay. Anyway, so at the end of the day, a lot of it is someone has done it before. I'm asking for the opinion of people who know someone who has done it. Now, look at an office like a family, yeah? So you have a couple, they have a child, and then they have siblings, and then they also have cousins, nephews, and then they have nieces. When they all come together, maybe it's somebody's birthday or, it's Christmas or it's something. After a while, as the children are growing up, people start realizing that this one plays the piano very well. People realize that this one sings very well. People realize that this one is very finicky. People realize that this one is educational. People just start realizing that some of them are very good at something. Remember, all the kids, the difference between them might be, I'm just going to example, might be 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, People realize that this person pays attention to detail. People realize that, oh, this one is very neat. People realize this one is very dirty. People form that opinion. And once they form that opinion is what stays with them, for a long time. They just, people say that my brilliant niece, that my this cousin, that my, now, a lot of people don't realize that when they start off a career, a lot of what they're going to be known by is the way they've interacted and people have seen them. And that's why I say you don't set out, your objective cannot, let me set out to be visible. Your objective has to be, let me set out to be a proper professional. You know, and I tell people, the first thing you need, the first trait you need is discipline. There is no visible, indisciplined person. Just be disciplined. Let's just start off with discipline. Discipline means if they say, turn up here at 4, 3:50, 3:45, the person is there. Discipline means if they say we're going to gather for a meeting to do this, you are just a disciplined person. When somebody says, do this, discipline is they know you will accomplish it. If somebody says, I need this report at 5 a.m., 7 a.m., they know this guy will do that thing by that. He's a disciplined person. Number one, be very disciplined. Now, you know, the problem with discipline is it's so underrated that a lot of people feel that talent can overcome discipline. Never. 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 You can't. You just have to be, and you know, discipline becomes a part of you. So when you say, wake up at 5, have your morning routine, do this at this time, you know, if you look at what Pastor has been preaching about, spiritual growth, when he talks of discipline, if you don't have a routine, you can't be, you know, for you to have a routine, you must be disciplined. For you to say, look, I wake up at 4:30 every morning, I do my morning devotion for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You must be disciplined. I tell people that there are loads of people who are very talented as a person, you know, and I might be wrong. I don't believe there's any genius, yeah? I just believe that there are people who are just, they could be gifted or talented as the case may be, but there's no genius, as in the person just has a very good sound ethics to what he does. So there are loads of people who are, yeah, you know, they're talented, you know, but when they're not disciplined, nothing happens. And I'm hammering on discipline because when people have talent or they're good at something, if they don't harness it, and that's why I was asking all of you, referrals. When you ask people for a referral, no one is going to refer someone to you who is not punctual. No one is going to refer someone to you who is not honest. No one is going to refer someone to you who they do not trust. At the end of the day, no one is going to refer an indisciplined person to you. If it's indisciplined, they'll tell you that plumber, that electrician, he's very good, but he's not reliable. So you have to be very disciplined. The second thing is that you have to have a very high work ethic. And a high work ethic is, I call it high energy work. And for you to do that, you know, you must be someone who's extremely knowledgeable in that stuff. So, you know, you can have a high work ethic and you can just, that's why people say, look, gentlemen, we don't reward effort in this place, we reward results. So you must have a very high work ethic. I'm talking of productive ethic. You must have a very high work ethic. Now, to have a very high work ethic, what does it mean to have a very high work ethic? To have a very high work ethic means that as a person, you must set very high standards for yourself. You will fail to achieve some of them. That's what it is. You're going to fail to achieve some of them. But you set high standards for yourself. You don't beat yourself down because you fail to achieve it. You just learn from it and move ahead. So you're disciplined. You have a very high productive work ethic. High productive work ethic. You are extremely respectful. Now, you see, I've seen so many talented people who have no iota of respect for anyone. They just don't respect people. They say, you know, I'm good, you know, they don't respect people. So, discipline, high productive work ethic, you're very respectful, You have a very deep knowledge of the industry you work for. And when I say now, I've left the foundational things. I'm now getting into the more advanced things. You have a deep knowledge of that industry you work for. And a deep knowledge of the industry you work for is, let's assume you are in telco. Let's assume you are in oil. Most industries are compartmentalized. A drilling engineer, this. You have a deep knowledge of the industry you work for. You have an idea of where that industry is going to. You can speak on what is happening in that industry. You can sit down and you can visionize in 5 years, how is this industry going to look like? Who will be the winners? Who are going to be the losers? How are things going to pan out? You are visionary. And visionary you don't have to have 40 years experience to be visionary. What you need to do to be visionary is that you must just be very good at networking within that industry. So you're very good at networking within the industry. Now, there's a difference between visibility and networking. Networking is that you're building a social and professional contact base, which allows you to know a lot of things before they get to happen. So before things become public, you already know them. Things that are cooking, you already know what's happening. Things that are happening in other areas, you have very good market intelligence. Nobody ignores somebody who, when you come to a table to speak, let's assume the guy works for Shell. I'm just using an example. The guy can tell you what people that are in the alternative energy space are doing. The guy can tell you what people who are, not only competitors are doing, but people who are trying to disrupt the industry is in. Someone can tell you what they are doing. Nobody ignores those kind of people. So now, for you to get to that level, you can't rely on only what you know. You have to rely on the knowledge other people bring, social networks you've built, professional networks you've built, information people pass across to you, what you read, how you interpret what has been read. So let me give you guys an example. This is a professional network group, community groups. You get to meet people free of charge. You get to rub minds with people. Some of you are ghosts in the community group. You don't talk. You just listen to what everybody else is bringing. You don't give your own, you're a ghost. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be vulnerable. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. You are vulnerable. What you don't know, you put it out, you learn from it, and then you move ahead. When you've built up all those traits, remember, I started with discipline and I ended up at the top with basically professional networking. When you've built up all those traits, first year, second year, early stages, you're working in an organization, you're just trying to learn as much as possible about that place you're working with, about the role you have been given, and about the industry you are working in. My brothers and my sisters, at that point in time, don't chase any visibility. Chase learning. Chase learning. When you've chased learning, now be confident enough. So when we're talking of, discipline, high productive work ethic and all that, you're chasing learning. When you've chased the learning, you now become a more confident person. When you now become a more confident person, don't be afraid to put yourself forward. Don't be afraid to put yourself forward. They say, look, we need a committee to work on something. We have a problem. We're looking at, want to set up a small group to look at how blah, blah, blah will be disrupted. Put yourself forward. Volunteer. Volunteer for the difficult roles. Don't volunteer for only the things that look very easy. Volunteer for the difficult roles. Volunteer for the things that are not even work related. So you work in an organization, they say, oh, we're looking for people to organize a year-end party. We're looking for people to organize a send-off party for someone. Volunteer. Just volunteer. Just put yourself in it. You'll learn, oh, how do they do parties? How do they do this? You just volunteer. One of the reasons why you are volunteering One of the reasons why you're volunteering is because volunteering helps you to meet people you ordinarily not have met. So if they say, we're looking for a group of people, we want to do clean up Lagos. We're looking for people, we're going to do CSR, sweep some streets, volunteer. You will meet
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you actually. I think we lost.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
It seems we lost Pastor Gbolahan. Please, can we exercise a little patience as he reconnects? I believe we are making notes. Some persons are already helping us make little notes. I believe we are making our own comprehensive notes as well.
Hello?
Welcome back, sir.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay. Okay. So, power outage. All right. Okay. So, what was the last thing you had, please?
Volunteering helps you meet people you wouldn't have met. Are you there,
So
sir?
you were talking about volunteering for difficult things, not just easy things, and things that have nothing to do with the job too.
Okay. So, you will meet people you ordinarily will never have met. Yeah. And then you get, a lot of us think everything is about the work. So you get to learn a lot of social skills, how to organize things. You get to know people informally, not only formally. When people volunteer to work on things, people talk. That's when people are vulnerable. Oh, when you tell someone, when you're working with somebody on an office project that has to do with the office, it's, yes, what time is it? This, we do that. When you work with somebody on a CSR, that's when the person starts asking you, oh, what do you do? Are you married? How many kids do you have? What does your wife do? What does your husband do? Blah, 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 blah. So you volunteer for all those informal stuff. And when you volunteer, be an active participant. Don't be a silent participant. Be an active participant. People ask you about your opinion, about, hey, how do you see this organization? It's not the time to start gossiping. Keep it professional. Keep it professional. Oh, you see this place, they don't promote people, they're very wicked. Just keep it professional. Everything you say will be used against you. Remember. So just keep it professional, discuss with the people, hear what they have to say, but keep your interaction professional. It is an informal stuff. 90% of the people that go there are going to give out information they shouldn't give out. You just keep it professional because people are assessing you both professionally and informally. You just keep it professional. Don't say, I thought we were friends. That's why I now started telling the person so. Just keep it professional. So you continue that, keep those interactions professional with people, and open your eyes and learn. Just learn. Learn both the things people are saying, learn both the things that they are not saying. Very okay. Now, within that organization that you work, you need to look for people who you will say, and I don't want to call them mentors. I just want to call them people who you call like role models. So you must look for people within the organization who you call like a role model, and then people within that industry who you connect with as a role model. Now, why do I call them role models? Role models are people that you feel they've walked the path you want to walk, you know, you can learn a few things from them. You can keep your eyes on the ball with them. Some of them, they don't even need to know you personally. You just follow their journey. You just follow through on their journey. Now, one of the things I found extremely useful is that I see people, they work with people in the workplace. Now I'm getting to the very soft issues. I see people, they work with people, they bring a new boss they have to work with. You have to have very good social skills. You have a subordinate, they bring in to work with you. You have a colleague, you have a boss. What do you think LinkedIn is for? You think it's just for checking who has gotten a new job? Go there and dig up the guy. Look through the person's profile. Who are you connected to that the person is connected to? Which school did they go to? Where have they worked before? Who do you know in those places? When you want to strike up a conversation with the people, strike from the known to the unknown. So you're just meeting somebody in the workplace. Start your conversation from the known to the unknown. What is known to the unknown? What are the things both of you have in common? You've checked the person's profile on LinkedIn. There's some things you have in common. You know this person, yes. You went to this school, you also went to that school. Start from the known to the unknown. Don't start from the unknown. So the person went, I'm just giving an example. You went to Babcock University. The person went to Babcock University. But you did your youth service in Kaduna. The person did his youth service in Lagos. Why are you starting your conversation with the person about NYSC? So how was your NYSC? You know, when I was doing, that's wrong. That's wrong. Start from the known. Oh, you were in Babcock. Okay, but you read the same course in Babcock. Start from the course the guy read. Break the ice. When you meet people within the organization, find out about people. Remember, you're already, at this point in time, we're talking, you're already technically solid. You're already technically solid. So go out, find out about people, read about them on LinkedIn, find out about what they do, what they like, their background, blah, blah, blah. You just read about them. When you read about them, when you strike a discussion, a conversation with them, that conversation helps you. It's easy for you to break the ice with the people. Okay, this, that. People start seeing both the normal side of you and the softer side of you. Both the normal side of you and the softer side of you. Now, remember I've said that when the big tasks come, take responsibility, do them. When things go wrong, so maybe there's an appraisal cycle, they appraise you, they don't appraise you the way you think you should be appraised. Don't sit down there and grumble. Go and meet the supervisor respectfully. Underline the word, respectfully. Go and meet the person, have a discussion with the person. Look, somebody says you are not doing well. He scores you maybe 70. You think you should be a 95. Don't tell the person, I'm a 95. Everybody I've worked with has scored me 95. You are the first person that has not scored me 95. Seriously? Sit down with the person and say, you scored me 70. Can I know what it will entail for you to score me a 95? What is your idea of a 95? Find out what that person's standard is. Just find out what that person's standard is. Don't you ask the person, what is your standard? What is your, if you wanted to score somebody 95, what will the person have done? For me to have scored 95, what will I have done? Ask the person. Don't go there, you're just, your attitude, your look, you're saying, look, I gave it to him. Who are you giving it to? Calm down. Calm down. You just meet the person. When you find out, now the person has defined what his measure of success is for you. Once they've defined what the measure of success is for you, that is fine. Now you can now take the next step and say, okay, Now I know what success means to this person. Now I know what success means to this person. Let me tell you something. There are very few people within an organization. Some people are visible because they talk a lot. Some people are visible because, you know, different things make people visible. Remember, we've spoken about I'll call them the technical issues. Be very presentable. When people see you, leave people with an impression. Dress smart. Dress smart. It's not dress expensive. Dress smart. When people see you, be neat. Dress smart. Make an impression on people. You know, don't be. I tell people, I say, don't be too conservative in the way you dress. So the organization might say, I'm just giving an example. Some people say, we wear white shirt and suit, which is fine. You don't always have to wear a plain colored tie. Spice it up. You know, spice it up. Don't be too dull. When people see you, they have forgotten they saw you. If they want to describe you tomorrow, there's nothing they can describe you with. You know, there are people that people see, when they want to describe them, they'll say, is it that guy that is always wearing, you know, very good belts? Is it that guy that is always wearing colorful shoes? Is it? The two people are the same, but they've left a mark on the people. Be well groomed. If you're a lady, you know, be well groomed. If you're a guy, be well groomed. Be neat. You know, when people see you, make an impression on them. Don't just come there and they'll just say, this one. Make an impression on them. And after you made an impression on the people, you know, you made an impression on them. Most people you meet, they should be surprised at your humility. If people are not surprised at your humility, something is wrong with you. And when I say surprised at your humility, is that you're going to be rising. When you start rising, don't start looking down at people. You know, you just learn how to treat everybody equally. I'm your supervisor, I'm your this. No. When people see you, greet them respectfully. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is this. How may I help you? Blah, blah, blah. People should be surprised to say, is that guy the new manager? I didn't know when I met him. Not that they'll say, wow, the way he spoke to me. Not that when you speak to people, they'll say, he's only a manager. I thought he was the managing director, the way he was talking. No. And it's part of leaving an impression on people. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Akintayo Popola. I've been here for 10 years. You know, oh, you joined us from here. How is it there? What are the things you see here or where you're coming from that we can imbibe here? You must be humble. And when people tell you things that you don't know, don't always be the kind of person that says, they come and meet you. You don't know what they've told you. They tell you. You say, no. I already knew that. But you don't know it. Be humble enough to say, really, I never knew about that. You know, I never knew about that. You know, I went to see someone yesterday. Just stopped by to see a family friend way back from I think it was workers' meeting. And they were the building in the finishing stages of building the house. And then the wife said, oh, this kitchen, it's a wet and dry kitchen. I'm like, wet and dry kitchen? You know, the people that came in from North America. So they were like, okay, open kitchen, like open plan kitchen, how the houses are in the US, where the kitchens are, you know, sort of joined to the living rooms, open plan. And then there's an inner bit of the kitchen where they cook spicy meals so that the smell doesn't come into the living room. And he said it's wet. I told him, I didn't know which one they call wet and dry kitchen. And I asked them, what's the concept of this stuff? And he said, you know, they put this one here, they put that here. If I see somebody tomorrow, wet and dry kitchen, I'm not going to pretend as if I know. I don't know. It doesn't take anything away from you, you know. And people appreciate when they have to teach you what you don't know. You are leaving an impression on the people because when people remember you, they'll say, oh, that guy, that lady, yeah, we had a discussion on A, B, C, D. You don't want to leave people with the impression that that guy, very arrogant. What has he achieved, self, that is so cocky, So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to take questions. I'll pause here, I'll take questions, and I'll take a concluding part. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. From what you said so far, we've gotten a lot of key points and things to jot down. So everybody, does anyone have questions? Please, let's drop our questions in the chat box. And if you have a question that you need to ask directly, you can raise your hand so we can unmute you to ask directly. Please, let's do that in. Madam Governor, I can see your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Well, I can see that people are typing up their questions, coming up with their questions. Thank you very much, Pastor Gbolahan. That was very insightful. So I had a question. So at the beginning of the session, you said that we should have a deep knowledge of the industry that you're in. So my question is, if you're in a very broad industry, so say for example, you are in tech now, and there's lots that's going on in tech. There's a metaverse, which is kind of, AR, VR, and a bunch of other things. There's AI. There are literally like a different million players of tech that you could potentially explore. And everything looks like in the next 5 years or next couple of decades, a lot of those pillars or a lot of different ones will be important. They'll be equally important, not if there's any that will be more important than others. How do you decide which one to go deep in? Because it is really impractical to say, I'm going to just go really deep within my sector or within like that particular industry. How do you choose one? How do you say, okay, this is the area which one makes the most sense?
Okay, thank you. Brilliant question. You have to ask yourself, which one do you think is going to, so there are 10 areas today. Which one do you think is going to be the relevant one in 10 years' time? And that's why I spoke about vision. Yeah. You must be able to place a bet on the future of that industry you're in. So look, today I spend a lot of time reading about tech. Yeah. I spend so much time reading about tech. I'm on different tech groups. I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that. I'm chatting with people who I've worked with, and I'm piecing up all the information together every time. Because look, I realized that the way I started work and where work is going, two extremely different things. And I'm not intending to retire in December. That's the problem. If I was intending to retire, no problem, but I'm not. So you have to place bets on what you think are the things that are going to disrupt. And when you think, look, this is where the future is going to be, then you have to learn a lot more about those. Now, as you're learning a lot more about those, you are also speaking. So when you have to be comparing your notes, so it's almost like you're putting it out there and saying, when people speak about it, you're saying, yes, I think, in 5 years' time, this is this. The more you put out a bet, the more you see people who are going to challenge that bet. And then that gives you I call it free consultancy on what the opinions of other people are in terms of placing the bets. So that gives you free opinion on, look, in terms of placing this bet, what do you think? when I started working in finance, I had one or two experiences, and I realized very quickly that I see these people in technology, they are going to deal with all of us in finance. So at the TCNVI breakfast session, I gave them an example of when I started working, there was a job role called knocking in. And what that job role entailed was they'll print the ledgers for us and we'll be typing it into the system. We'll type in a customer's balance every day to get the average balance. And we'll be typing it and typing. And one lady just came from tech one day and just said, oh, you can download a text file. She had generated the text file of the report. You can download that text file into Excel. Immediately, when that lady said I could download the text file into Excel, I went to get the Excel book. I read everything. I said, I knew that. I see this thing. Now, maybe if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't have looked at the power of tech, because that work experience, we will type in the person that is even printing the figures. If you annoy the guy, he will make the fonts very small. You will come, you'll be looking at it. But it was a job role. And guess what? That job was extremely competitive to get. A lot of us went to law school, went to write tests. Some people were struggling to write the test. This one that they're saying is, what do you call it? They had stampede when they were doing customs test. When I was doing my test to enter banking, people cut their hand and broke the glass of law school. It's not today they've started having stampede in employment in Nigeria. It's because that one was national. That's why it was on the news. So I'm just trying to say, and then you get in and then you are knocking in. It is what it is. So you have to place a bet, look at where the things are going, speak to people in other places. When you place your bet, at times you're going to be wrong with the bets, but when you're wrong, you must have the humility. Don't be a prisoner of your own decision. So a lot of people, they take a path on something and the thing is not working. They're too proud to reverse themselves. Don't be a prisoner of your own decision. You see it's not working, you retract, you ask people again, how is this working? And then you move ahead with it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was very helpful.
Awesome. Victoria Wakubia, I can see your hand up. Kindly unmute. You have 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for the insightful and amazing session. So much to learn. Okay, so my question is similar to the previous question. I have two questions, actually. The first one is, when you were speaking, you talked about market intelligence. So I want to know, what does it mean to have a good market intelligence? That's one question. And then second is, you spoke about volunteering. So I want to know, at what point does it become too much? Because when you volunteer for the difficult tasks, that, let me try this, I can do this. Or you just when they're asking, we need somebody to volunteer for a particular task, and hey, this thing will do me, but because you want to learn, or you just volunteer. And then at some point you start seeing that it's like you are now the go-to person, and then they start dumping the workload on you. Like, hey, you are reliable, so do this. And at some point you start experiencing burnout. So when it's too much, or how do we determine the time that we say, okay, let me start saying no and stop taking any more tasks? So I think, again, the first question is, what does it mean to have a good market intelligence? And how do we draw the line when it comes to volunteering, especially for difficult tasks? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. So the number of things you hear about the role and the market you play in that you hear from outside and you never knew before, you just use it to judge your market intelligence. So let me give you an example. If I'm a developer, yeah, and I develop, and I'm in the fintech section, lending apps, yeah. The number of lending companies that are coming up that I know nothing about is a measure of my market intelligence. So whatever role you're playing, market intelligence means knowing what is happening with your peers and other market players, what's happening in that industry. That's market intelligence. So the number of things that you get to know, you just read on the newspaper, you see. Because you see, before news comes out, there are a lot of people that know about it and are positioning. People are already planning before the news comes out. And a lot of news is public news in a place is public. Yeah. So maybe you work in MTN. In Airtel, this news is public. In MTN, it's not public. But there's some people who already know about it. So anything that is catching you unawares, which you are interested in, and it's something you could have found out. If too many things catching you unawares, you know, market intelligence is not good. You know, if there are a lot of things that by the time they come out, you already know about them, you know, your market intelligence is good. The second question about, burnout, even though you volunteer, you must not be shy to ask for help. So I'll give you an example. Community groups, people call me, come and speak in this community group. So I think 2 weeks ago, one community group called me to come and speak. Another one called, and I told them, I said, look, you guys, what you are telling me to speak about is the same thing. Can you people combine yourselves together, the three of you, so that I can have one session? I didn't need to have that discussion with them. If I didn't have it with them, I'm the one that's going to be burnt out. Do you understand? But I had to have the discussion with them that, look, what you want me to speak about is similar. I can combine all the topics. Let's all do this. So at times you have to look at it and say, okay, this thing I'm volunteering to do, yeah, it's going to take maybe 1 hour of my time. There is a reason why you want to do it. You can't just be volunteering to do everything. There must be a reason why you are doing A. If doing B is going to affect what you are doing in A, you have to pull back and try and say, how do I prioritize my time? Let me tell you my own view about time. My view about time is, so far this thing they call social media is still existing. What I just keep on doing is I just keep reducing the time I'm spending. I call it loafing around. So most people, I say, how much time do you spend on these platforms every day? And how much time do you spend on the platforms every day? Some people go, they watch this video, people just spend a lot of time. People go look at people's pictures on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. How many of you realize that tailoring and fashion industry, how many of you realize that tailoring has boomed because of Instagram? Tailoring has boomed because of Instagram, because all you people that post your pictures, you don't want to post the same clothes every time. So you people are buying more clothes. Tailors are sewing more stuff. So I'm just saying that, look, volunteering, you need to plan and then prioritize your time. What is happening in the world today is that because of the availability of information, the time people need to do a lot of things is shrinking in terms of there's more information available, so you can get many things done much faster. So as people get a lot more time on their hands, a lot of people, that additional time they get, they just pass it on to social media. So you just prioritize. You don't have to, if you cannot cope with 5 tasks, you should be humble enough to say, you know what, I can only do 2 now. When I finish 2, I will do this other one after. There's no shame in it. But you can't get to a stage where you are volunteering and your primary job is suffering. Then something is wrong. Yeah? Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Okay, thank you everyone for your questions. We have some questions in the chat box. Can I read them out, sir?
Yeah, sure.
All right, sir.
I can't
How do
hear
you
you.
reconcile the fact that, can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. How do you reconcile the fact that some supervisors prefer staff that exhibit high service attitude and may likely recommend them for promotion over the one doing their jobs dutifully but quietly? Did you get that, sir?
Why are you doing it quietly? That's my first question. So, Emmanuel, why did you add quietly? So maybe Emmanuel can just give us a little explanation. I think it's Emmanuel Orji that wrote it. Why you said doing their job dutifully but quietly. And my question now is, why quietly? Why are you doing the work quietly?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Okay. What I meant by quietly isn't that you are not trying to do the work noticeably. What I mean by quietly is that you are doing the work, but you are not trying to show as if like you don't want to exhibit that same eye service kind of attitude.
You know, so we've gotten into another topic, but let me just speak for about 5 minutes. See, Joseph was interpreting dreams, Abi?
Yes, sir.
Emmanuel, yeah? What if Joseph refused to interpret dreams for the people he met? How would they have brought him to Pharaoh? Because he didn't want, just assume Joseph didn't want people to know he could interpret dreams. So when somebody tells him he has a dream, he'll be looking. You see, we need to, as professionals, realize that people believe that, you just walk under the radar. They tell you to do something, you're going to do a presentation, you're going to do something. You come there, you do it, you exhibit a lot of confidence, charisma, self-presence. You do what you have to do. You leave an impression on the people. You don't want to be I'm just doing my own here. Jejo, I don't want that. No. No. And you see this thing they call eye service. Remember that eye service is really somebody that only works when somebody is around. So eye service means that Adekola is only going to do something when Gbolahan is around. That's eye service. Yeah, that's the meaning of eye service.
Yeah.
You work when people are seen. Since you know he's only going to work when Gbolahan is around, you too, you know when Gbolahan is around. Now, up your game at that time. That's you up. This guy is around. I know this guy is I'm gonna up my game at that time too. So if you are going to bring 60% to the table, then I'm going to bring 85% to the table there. Because eye service just means that you are very efficient only when the boss is around. So maybe I'm efficient, he's around, he's not around, I'm efficient. But you're only efficient, just up your game at that time. You just have to up your game at that time. The other guy is practicing prioritization of upping his game. He will up his game when the guy is around. When the guy is not around, he will reduce his game. He might not even do anything. You are working 60, you are giving 80% all through. This guy gives 95% when the other guy is around and 70% when the other guy is not around. Let's see, my brother, when that guy is around, you give your 98%. That's when he notices what you guys are doing. There's no, that's what it is. So you have a boss who works in Kenya. He comes around to Nigeria once in a quarter. And he's going to spend 1 week in Nigeria. You have to be up for the game that 1 week. That 1 week, you're wearing your smartest shirt, you're wearing your smartest tie, you're looking very, you've cut your hair before he comes. If he's going to stay for 2 weeks, if you normally would go to the barber once a week, you've gone there on Sunday, they're going to have a meeting on Thursday morning, you've gone there on Wednesday evening, you've gotten a new cut, you're looking sharp, you're up the game. And the guy goes back, you will now say, see this guy, he's always looking scruffy. But when the man came from Kenya, that's when he went to cut his hair. Cut your own head too, not even your hair. Up the game. You up the game. You up the game. The other guy, he buys a new shirt because he knows this guy is going to go into this meeting. Why are you wearing that shirt you've had for 8 months, 9 months? Everybody has known you with. Get a new shirt, get a new tie. Go in. They always expect you to wear a normal suit. Enter there with one double-breasted suit. When they see you, they don't even recognize you. Oh, here we come, guys. Let's go. You know, I hope I've helped you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just up your game. I learned quite a lot from that. When others are into their eye service game, then you up your game as well. Thank you so much for that response. That was spot on. Okay, we have another question here. I think that's the last question in the chat box from Larry Babatunde. He said, I work in a highly politicized work environment where senior managers have obvious personal differences towards each other. How do I stand out without being used as a pawn by a senior manager against another and yet maintain a lasting impression?
You already know they have personal differences. So you already know. You've solved 50% of the problem. You already know they have personal differences. They'll call you. There's professional work they will call you to do, and then they will add the personal one, you know, and tell you A, B, C, D. Look, you see, you can't stop people from telling you things. What you can stop is how you react and what you say. But you can't stop. Somebody calls you and says, you see, Adekola, that man, so far I'm in this organization. You need to know what you can react to and what you cannot react to. You need to know what you need to say and what you do not need to say. So you already know they have their personal differences. If you see that, look, I've gotten to a stage, I'm so comfortable with this guy that I can tell him, maybe we should calm down or take things a little easy. If my relationship with this guy is very more professional, first, ensure that the things they want you to do, you do it well. Number two, make sure you are not delivering for one person more than the other person. You know, there's nothing as bad as when you have people who have differences. One gives you something to do, you deliver it at 95. Another one gives you to do, you deliver it at 75 or 80. He says, I always knew you never liked me. You are trying to sabotage me. Deliver from everybody top notch. When you get into that kind of scenario, each of them, you need to deliver for them top notch. Let it be that when all of them speak, what they'll first say is, that guy, very smart guy, very smart guy. Let them all first have that opinion first. If they all have that opinion, you've solved 85% of your problem. But if when you go there, the first thing you start with is you continue from the last discussion. You know, me too, I always knew that Mr. Adekola, the man is problematic. In fact, anytime I'm going to his office, you know, I always pray to God, and let me find favor with this man today. What are you? Why are you getting involved? You know, let them come and say what they want to say. They have to say what they want to say. No problem. But you know that, look, I'm not going to speak to what this guy, I'm going to concentrate on the task at hand. And when they lure you in, because they will lure you in, there's no way they won't lure you in. When they lure you in, you just keep the professional statement. Like, there's some of those things, if you've not even noticed it around here, you know, let them be the one doing the speaking, you know. And it's not that when they are doing the speaking, you not be affirming. Just keep a straight face, my brother. You keep a straight face. You know, don't be giving mannerisms that suggest that you are agreeing or you are disagreeing, you know. And then if the person says, have you not noticed these things I've been saying? You say you've not seen it in this perspective he's giving you, because you've not seen it in the perspective. Because let me tell you something. Anytime you see two people that are having an argument, there are three parties involved. Those two people and history. What you never know is the history. Let me take it again. If you see Adekola and Gbolahan having an argument, and the argument is degenerating, two people don't meet for the first time and just start arguing endlessly, except they are football fans. The only set of people that meet one day and just start arguing are football fans. And the history between the football fans is the matches their teams have played. So they will be quoting. Let me tell you something. In 2017 in Anfield, the other one will say, in 2019 in Highbury, that's history they are quoting. history. So when two people are arguing, you have the two people and history. That history is a third party. That's why you see somebody does something to someone that looks like something that is very minute, and the other person flips. And the next thing you hear is, that is how he behaves. That is how she behaves. That is how is a reference to history. So it's not talking of what he's doing today. It's telling you that is how he has been. So, when you don't know the history, you just stay out of it. Because if you get into the history, that's what the worry people say. Don't allow them to use your head to break coconut. Okay.
Okay, that was spot on again. Thank you so much for that. I learned quite a lot from that. I don't think we have any questions here again. You said you were going to get into the concluding part of it.
Okay, thank you. So let me get into the concluding part of it. First thing is that, anytime I go and speak to people, and if they tell me, speak about things like corporate politics, speak about things like visibility at work, speak about things like that. The first thing, and I noticed that the people I'm speaking to, I can't see them. There's a problem. You guys, you don't understand the first law of visibility. We are speaking. You want to be visible. You don't have video. You have already lost the game. You've already lost the game. You go for a session. They say we're going to have a session. There are people that are going to be there. You must prepare to be visible. Part of being visible, in this digital age, a lot of people, they don't prepare for meetings. They think it is an avenue to, they'll tell themselves, these digital meetings, I can just be lying down and taking the meeting. Oh my God, see enjoyment. There's nothing wrong in it. Just don't understand the traits. You go for meetings, in video. You let people see you. Let me tell you guys something. Out of all of you now, the only person that's in this meeting now, I know Simba before, I know Joseph before, I know a few people before, but see, the person I'll remember first out of all of you is Adekola. Why? It's the person I'm seeing. That's the way life is. You can have a fanciful name and look at the name, but video. So in this digital world, when you guys go for sessions, you have to have your videos on. And you must prepare to have that video on. So preparing to have the video, you need to decide what background I want to use for this video. Look, when you're going for a session and you want to put on your video, you prepare better. You prepare better because okay, you're going to put on the video. Some of you think that digital is an avenue for you to be hiding. So you disappear. Remember, when you were going for meetings before, when it was physical, you sit down around the table and they see you. So people can see you, they know who you are. I've seen people who work in organizations now, when people, they'll say, are you that person? And he's been doing meetings with them. For 6 months, they'll say, are you that person? And I've seen people who have also worked in those places for 1 month. And when people see them physically, they just say, you must be Mr. This. Because the way he has designed even his background, when you see his background, it must catch your fancy. So he has already branded himself. So error, total error. You guys are exhibiting naivety 101. Naivety 101. Naivety 101. You are not preparing. You think, I'm just, no. You are naive, very naive. And in the office, you're a lady, you're going to make your hair is going to look nice. When you go to the office, you're not going to hold digital meeting, no video. Go and make that hair and put on that video. Let them look at the video and say, the same way they will have complimented you physically. You know, then some of you, your video as it comes up, you put it up, you start apologizing. Apologies. You shouldn't do that. Number two, apart from putting your videos on when you go for meetings, remember the world is moving digital. The world is going digital. And you're going to have a lot more digital interaction with people. Understand digital etiquette. So you want to speak, people put up their hands. There's a way to speak, yeah? So you put up your hand. Some of you, when you're in a meeting, when things get heated, you abandon the etiquette. You remove your, excuse me, what is wrong with you? You're a hooligan. Keep the etiquette going. You are becoming negatively visible. You want to speak, no one is allowing you to speak. You go to the chat box, you type, my hand has been up for the last 10 minutes. I appreciate if I can get an opportunity to just, share a few things. Just be polite. That's why you have a chat function there. So don't create the atmosphere that, where did they bring this hooligan from? No. So remember, same video, people look at you, they say, okay, this guy is okay, made an impression on us. That's number two. And now we're discussing more of the digital work life. So you keep the etiquette, you have your video on, you've kept the etiquette. Number three, most people go for meetings. The meeting is recorded. I tell people, when that meeting is over, take that recording. When you are listening to it, be watching the mannerisms of the participants. Just be watching their mannerisms. You will learn what to do. Some people will be picking their nose, all sorts, all those bad habits that you have been doing in private. When you put on your video, some of you might have to tie your hand behind you like this, because you're just going to be fidgeting around. So we'll just watch the video and observe the mannerisms. You will see that it's the same facial expression that people give in physical meetings. When somebody's saying, just observe the mannerisms. I tell people, just re-listen to it and observe the mannerisms. When you observe the mannerisms, you will realize that it could have been you. And so you realize that when you go for a digital meeting, you just concentrate. Prepare for it the way you prepare for a physical meeting. Just concentrate. Just concentrate. Concentrate. So let me give you an example. You go for a digital meeting. Someone is saying something very important. You're writing the stuff, yeah? As you're writing the stuff, do you know you go for the meeting, the guy that is writing is talking. Maybe it's the MD that is presenting. Is the person writing? You see, there's someone here now I think it's someone whose microphone was on. This is how you go and behave in promotion meeting. You now say you didn't get promoted. You have unpromoted yourself already. I say you have to treat, you have to treat a virtual meeting the way you treat a physical meeting, So some of you wake up, you don't have your bath again because you are going for physical meeting, because you're going for virtual meeting. Look, prepare such that if they just say, Mr. Emmanuel, you want to give a few comments, anytime they call you to speak, try as much as possible. Even if it's not a meeting where people are using their videos, try as much as possible to first put on your video. When they see the man that has appeared or the woman that has appeared, they know this one is a professional. Just come here. If it's a casual meeting, dress casually, and then you come there and then you speak to them. Hello, this, how may I help you? This, that. You just prepare for it. Visibility has moved away from only the round table low. visibility has also moved into the digital space. And there are people that are, I'll give you guys an example. So we called some of the big four guys to come and do a presentation for us. We're trying to choose people to do a job for us. The first guys, they came, Now, these were the early days when these, digital meetings first started. The KPMG guys came. Is there anybody from KPMG here? Is there anybody from KPMG here? When the KPMG guys came, people had not started using backdrop, DPs that had a corporate logo. The guys came, their DPs and their corporate logo. When they came with their DP and the corporate logo, I'm saying it's the early days when people first started doing digital meetings. When they came with their DP, do you understand? All of them, same DP, same this, same that. We didn't think too much of it in the organization I was in. We didn't think too much of it. But when the next people came, we were seeing the office, one window here, one painting here. They started looking like RAS people. What kind of people like this? Because those other guys came, their DP, blue background, KPMG, So remember, those other people, there was nothing wrong with them. The other guys had changed the game. So we started looking at them and saying, are these guys, are they really digital? We started asking ourselves, see what DP has cost? We started, are these guys really digital? Are they really this? Are they really that? Those guys, they came for that meeting as if they were coming for a physical meeting. They came prepared. They came prepared. So when they tell you, make a comment, make a this, show your video, speak confidently, realize that you're speaking to people. You're not speaking to pictures. You're speaking to people, And what a lot of people don't realize now is that people are going to form that opinion from there. Fortunately, unfortunately, a lot more people can see you now, unlike before. So a lot more people who will not have participated can participate now. A lot more of what you couldn't do before could have been done now. So just make the best use of it and prepare. Discipline. They say a Zoom meeting starts at this time or a Teams meeting. Log in. Let them be the ones saying there are people waiting at the lobby. Be waiting at that lobby. Be waiting at the lobby. I always ask my people, if somebody says it's late, I say, is there traffic on Zoom? There's no traffic on Zoom. How can you be late? It's bad habits that has germinated inside you that you are bringing out. You have forgotten. So some of us are not even, emotionally intelligent enough to know that they've given you the time for the meeting. You have a phone, you have a laptop. Even if you log in first, do you understand? Even if you log in and you're finalizing, getting ready, even if you are disorganized, you're already there. You're already there. How can you be late for a virtual meeting? How? You know that your connection is not good. It's going to buffer for 2 minutes or something. Start 10 minutes ahead now. 10 minutes before that, you're still responding to a WhatsApp chat. You're saying that new stuff. Like, you are responding. You can respond, and do that. Do you understand? Or they call you. When they call you, they start hearing, you are eating. How can you be eating when they call you? You can't be eating when they call you. Look, you've got to put something in your mouth, they call you. Better spit that thing out and speak normally. How can you be eating when they call? It's just bad etiquette. And a lot of us are doing it. We're just doing it and doing it and doing it. Visibility is moving digital. And because visibility is moving digital, it also affords you an opportunity for you to get people to know you much easier than before. So I'll conclude with this. your standards shouldn't change. No matter what you're doing, your standards shouldn't change. Your standards should not change. No matter what you're doing, your standards shouldn't change. When people see you, you mustn't see you on Zoom and look at you like this. See you physically and look at you again. You know, something's wrong. Now you have dual personality. Your standards mustn't change. You just must be, okay, this is this person, you know, that is that person. You just must have uniformity of standards. You know, let me tell you guys a joke. So we did a breakfast session, and I sent an invitation to people after that. And to do the invitation, I had to like save the numbers and send an invitation. And then I went for a session. And then I met someone. And then I told the guy, we exchanged pleasantries. I said, can I give you my number? He said, no. He said, can you give me your number? I said, sure. So I told him, why don't you give me your number and let me call you? So he gives me his number. I call him. His name pops up. Yeah? Because I've saved it from that session. I look at it and I realize, and the guy is talking, he's talking so politely, but I realized that this guy did not even respond to what I sent to him. Now, guess what? If he had responded, the conversation would have been a little different. Yeah. So I took it. I'm like, are you this person? He says, yes. He's like, how did you know me? I'm looking at the guy. I'm wondering, look, I've given you my number. If anybody gives me their number, the first thing I do is to save the number. As I save the number, the first place I go to is WhatsApp. Because it's possible the person had sent me a message that we've chatted before when I didn't have the person's number. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So the first place I go to is WhatsApp. When I save the number, I just go to WhatsApp to go and see. Because I've seen many people who have given me their number or we've exchanged numbers. When I save it, when I go to WhatsApp, I'll see that we've been talking before. Maybe the person just sends you a message or something. So I'm looking at the guy, I'm wondering, do something now. You can figure me out more easily, Baba. And then the guy is saying, So I'm just telling you guys, look, you must be digitally smart. And why I'm bringing it to visibility is because in this present workplace now, it's possible for you to have made a comment. You didn't know the person. You made a comment. You didn't know the person. And then you give the guy your number. The person saves your number. Yeah? So when the person saves your number, okay, so let me tell you guys this trick. The person has saved your number. When you go to when you're in a group, first go and check the people in that group. Go and look at the info list of that group. You know the people who you have their numbers saved, their names come out first. Some of you are making comments on groups that people you work with are there and you don't know because somebody just added you to the group. Do you understand what I'm saying? So somebody adds you to a group. That group they've added you to, symbol is there. But they've just added you to the group. They say, let us welcome Onyidamola to the group. They welcome you. That group has nothing to do with, it's a separate group. Maybe it's a group of ex-girls guide, people who went to maybe Abuloma, you know, people who went to University of Port Harcourt. I'm just giving an example. So they say, let's welcome you. They welcome you there. What I always go and do, I go to the information list of that group, the participants. I go and check. Who are the people I know that are already in this group? Oh? Because some of you, that's how you go and just be talking. Just be talking. You think you are talking in the wilderness. The people will just be looking at you. Some of you, you're chatting. Who you are chatting about? You're chatting about people in your workplace. So, you know, there's a group that invited me to come and speak. And the title of what they wanted me to come and speak about was managing bad and toxic bosses. So I told them, I said, just change it to workplace dynamics. And then they were like, no. I said, see, if you put out a flyer on your WhatsApp DP, and the flyer on your WhatsApp status is saying managing a bad boss, when your boss looks at it, who are you managing? Is it not him? You have caused a problem for yourself already. You are displaying that you are going for a meeting, and the title of the meeting you are going for is managing a bad boss. Who is the boss? So I said, look, the flyer you guys are creating, you are going to create a bigger problem before you even get to the meeting. The person is now waiting for you. So you've learned how to manage a bad boss. No problem, no problem, you know. So you just have to be astutely, you have to be digitally aware. So thank you guys, and I'll take any further questions, yeah?
Thank you so much, Pastor Gbolahan. It's been an insightful session with you. In fact, so many action points, so many key points to note. And in fact, I can say I am saturated already, and there is room for more. I can be saturated. Do we have questions before we call it a wrap? Do we have questions? If you have questions, please kindly raise your hands as we have been taught. Questions. Okay. Okay, I have 2 persons raising their hands. Okay, you have 30 seconds. Let's take Nse first. So Nse, please kindly unmute and ask your questions.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. So I would like to ask, because I noticed you didn't touch on this topic. So how can someone that is visible in a particular space and is looking to pivot to another space, how can a person successfully pivot to the other space? Yes, you're visible in a particular space, but you're looking to pivot to another space. How can you successfully do that?
Wow. Now, that requires a lot of wisdom, yeah? So you're visible in this space. You want to pivot to another space. The first thing is humility. Now, you need to just look back a little bit and say, look, what was my journey to being visible here? When you look at your journey to being visible there, you ask yourself, I now need to replicate this journey in this new place. Ideally, it should be shorter. However, you're going to need a lot more humility, because remember, you're coming from a place of, you're very visible, and then you're going to another place. That other place you want to pivot to. Some of the people already know you as, the visible person here. So when you come here, you're going to have to be learning from people who are, who were looking up to you, even though you guys were in different sections. So that's why I say you have to be very humble. The second thing is you have to realize that journey from A to B, they can't treat you the way they were treating you in A when you're pivoting to B. And that's the difficult thing for a lot of people. So they already know me, it's almost like if today, if I had to go and learn how to present in Hausa, yeah, I have to do a lot of learn the language. I can speak, minimally because I was born there. I can speak it very minimally, but I have to learn a lot of things. English comes to me naturally because I've been speaking English for how many years? So what I'm trying to say is that you have to be humble. You have to be very humble. You have to look at, most importantly, you have to look at the journey of where you're coming from. And then learn as much as possible from the people. Humble, let them teach you, you learn. Why I keep on saying the journey should be shorter is because anything people have learned over the last 10 to 15 years, my personal belief system is that if you need to learn what you've learned in the last 10 to 15 years, it shouldn't take you more than 2 years to learn it now. The quantum of information available now is outrageous. It shouldn't take you, it shouldn't. However, remember, visibility has social capital. And when I say social capital, is that when you tell Adekola Nse, he already knows Nse. When you tell Emmanuel Nse, he already knows Nse, because you are all in that same echo community. For those other people, When you tell them, they don't know answer. So even when you start learning, there's still a stage of proving yourself, Now, that's where grace comes in. That's where finding favor with men comes in. You've already found it here. You have to find that same favor in another place. You cannot assume that the favor, the grace you found here, you just transfer it. So, having done all things, you now need to find the same grace and favor in the other place. So, I tell people that, look, I'm speaking of the learning curve. Like that learning curve for you was 15 years. And, the spiritual altar was 10 hours. If you reduce the learning curve by 80%, you see that spiritual altar to find that same give or take here. You can't reduce that one. You will possibly have to increase that one. So I hope if it doesn't answer a question, ask a follow-up.
It's fine, sir. You're on point, sir.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much for the response. We have another Temitokbe. Please kindly unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Adekola. Thank you, Pastor Gbolahan. Thank you so much, sir. I think I also have a lot of action points, just like Adekola said. So my question is, when you find yourself in an organization and you want to implement all of what you've taught us tonight about being visible, but I'm in a room with my directors, my general managers, and my top bosses, who something like an unwritten rule that your cameras should, they are always off camera and all of that. And I want to stand out. I want to be visible. I want to implement what I'm learning, and I have my camera on. How am I going to manage that? Because it's not like it's a written rule that for all virtual meetings, everybody should have their videos off, but it looks like the culture of the environment. How do I manage that without having any issue with everybody?
If there's a cultural issue where everybody's videos are off, when you come, your video is always on. After people will ask you, what are you trying to prove? Yeah. So, I always tell people, see, there's that thing that says culture eats strategy for breakfast, eats it for lunch, eats it for dinner. If that's the culture, you have to start. I told you something. I said, start from the known to the unknown. If the culture is that they don't put on their cameras, don't put on your camera. But when they ask you a question, put on your camera. You're starting from the known to the unknown. So you put on your camera to answer a question. You put on your camera to answer, you might first get a few remarks like, you didn't need to put on your camera. I'm just giving an example. You have to joke about it. I just wanted to be sure that, I make my point. You just, at times, fluidity, you must learn how to speak yourself in. Now, they ask another person a question. Maybe the person puts on his camera, maybe he doesn't put on his camera. Yeah. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But if they never do, and it's not the culture, you never try and forcefully implement a culture. You test it. You have to use wisdom. So you don't come in there. You can come in, open the, start a meeting. You can start by showing your camera, greeting people, and putting off your camera. You are showing your camera when you want to greet people. Good morning, this, good morning, that, good morning, this. You put off your camera. You are introducing yourself small, gently and gently. But you are not just putting your camera and just smiling. And then you're shaking your head. And then people are saying, look, what are you trying to do? Come on, are you modeling around here? So you come, you greet people, good morning, good morning, good morning. You put off your camera. They ask you a question, you put on your camera. Let me tell you something. Most people in most organizations are very, very sensitive and smart. If you come to a meeting twice and you put on your camera, you will see your colleagues when they come to, they'll put on their camera, good morning, they'll put it back off. You will just see people say, good morning, Now, if you receive feedback, maybe your direct boss or your supervisor calls you and say, we don't put on cameras here, the boss did not take it very well. you must understand the culture. Culture is very important. Culture is very, very important. And you must not be seen to be going against culture frontally, but you can be seen to be trying to bring in new things into a culture that are positive. But if that is not your job, you must just test it gradually. Test it gradually, you know. Thank you.
Awesome. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's deep. Okay. We may have to stop right here. Kelvin, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
All right, over to you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. First off, I want to say thank you. Really, I mean, I think the naivety, one thing got to me very well, you know, and then the need to be digitally intelligent when it comes to visibility. So I want to thank you on behalf of the entire work and study group. Thank you so much. Really do not take this, your insights and instructive learnings for granted. Like I was, like we're talking to our people, I specifically said that you are a corporate giant. And I know why I said that. Because I mean, your words already tells me that you understand the dynamics, how it works, and then you've intelligently give us a lot of doses. So thank you very much. So on behalf of myself and everybody on this call and the entire work and study, we want to say thank you. However, I'd leave my governor to do the entire vote of thanks. So, Madam Governor, you have the floor, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Pastor G, I'm really grateful for the time that you have spent. I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you, but this is our last masterclass for the session. And I don't think we could have planned this any better. This has been really the crown on top of, you know, in what has been a fantastic session. So I'm grateful for the time they have spent with us. We do not take the experiences and insights you have shared for granted, because we know that these things that you have taught us and shared with us today have come from actual life experiences. It's not stuff that we can just go out there and find out there. So thank you very much again for your time. And I'd like everyone to mute in the comment section. Just tell Pastor Gbolahan how you're feeling in the moment, because today tables have been shattered completely and it's not just been broken. So thank you very much, Pastor Gbolahan. Please tell Pastor Gbolahan thank you, everyone. Feel free to unmute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Pastor Gbolahan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for the insightful session.
Thank you very much, sir.
And it is my pleasure to officially conclude our masterclass.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So it is my pleasure to officially conclude our master classes for this semester. See you all next week at our hangout and also at our end of the year outreach, which will be communicating to you later. So have a fantastic weekend, everyone. And thank you so much, Pastor Joshua, again. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the questions. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. You guys didn't invite me for the hangout a bit. All right.
We'll be sending you your special invites. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, Pastor Gbolahan. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Same here. And thank you once again, Simbo. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Good night, everyone.